All right, let's dive into a story that is, well, it's pretty wild. This isn't some sci-fi movie. It's a gripping first-person account from a pilot who accidentally caught something absolutely impossible on his helmet cam. Let's get right into it. Something passed beneath me very fast. That's it. Those are the words that kick this whole thing off. The pilot's totally normal, routine flight gets shattered in a single, bizarre moment. A moment that would lead him down a rabbit hole for months, trying to understand an object that, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't even exist. So the guy at the center of all this is an experienced paramotorist. You know, one of those gliders with a big fan on the back. He'd been flying since 2023, and for him, it was pure passion, a way to see the world from this incredible vantage point. But one flight, in late 2025, was about to change his entire perspective on what's up there. Okay, let's set the scene. It's November 1st, 2025, about 2 hours before the sun sets. Our guy takes off over Ronicote Fort in Sindh. Now, this place is ancient and seriously remote. It's actually the world's largest fort, basically a huge valley surrounded by mountains. The perfect spot for a nice, quiet flight, or so he thought. So he's flying along the fort's massive outer wall, and then he decides to head into the main valley. Everything seems totally calm. To be safe, he bumps his altitude up to about 1,400 feet, just to stay clear of any turbulence. And that's when his peaceful afternoon flight becomes something else entirely. As he's cruising towards a smaller fort inside the valley, something just flashes underneath him. It moves so unbelievably fast that by the time he whips his head around to get a look, it's already gone. Nothing. And his first thought isn't, wow, a UFO. It's pure fear. He's thinking it's a drone and he's about to have a mid-air collision. And you can literally hear the panic in his radio chatter with his friends on the ground. They immediately try to rationalize it. A drone seems way too dangerous, so they land on a much safer, more comforting idea. It must have been a bird. It's a classic human response, right? Find the simplest explanation to calm yourself down. They just figure, we'll check the video later. So he gets back home, completely safe, and pulls the footage from his two cameras, a GoPro on his helmet and another on his harness. He's just trying to figure out what that bird actually was. And this is where the real story begins. The fleeting moment in the air was just the start. The deep, technical mystery unfolds right here on his computer screen. And he was super methodical about it. He didn't just guess. He found the exact moment in the footage, slowed it way down, and started a painstaking frame-by-frame analysis. And what he found was, well, it was kind of mind-blowing. Now, to really get what he found, you need to understand this one little technical detail. His GoPro was shooting at 30 frames per second. That means the camera's taking 30 little snapshots every single second. So the time between one frame and the next is just 0.033 seconds, an incredibly tiny slice of time. Just remember that number. Because this is the jaw-dropping discovery. When he went frame by frame, he saw the white object in one frame, and then in the very next one, it was 120 meters away. It covered more than the length of a football field in that tiny, tiny gap between frames. And when you do the math on that, distance over time, the number you get is just staggering. 3,600 meters per second. To put it another way, that thing traveled 3.6 kilometers. That's over 2 miles in a single second. Let's try to wrap our heads around that speed. A peregrine falcon, the fastest animal on the planet, dives at about 88 meters per second. A Boeing 747, about 277. Heck, even the SR-71 Blackbird, the fastest jet we've ever built, maxes out around 1,200. This object was moving 3 times faster than the fastest machine humanity has ever created. The pilot himself was skeptical. His first thought was, no way, I must have messed up the calculation. So he kept digging. He cross-referenced his own position with Google Earth, meticulously tracking the object's path, but every new piece of evidence just made the mystery deeper, pointing to something that simply should not be able to do what it did. And that's the real question, isn't it? How can anything move that fast through our atmosphere, especially at a low altitude where the air is thick and soupy? He tracked its path for 3 kilometers across the valley, a distance it covered in just over half a second, which only confirmed his insane speed calculation. And then he found something else. Just seconds after that first sighting, while he was still talking on the radio, the object passed him again.
This time it was way closer. So close and so fast that it was totally invisible to his naked eye. The only reason we even know it happened is because the camera caught it as a tiny, blurry streak across just 3 frames of video.
This is where the whole thing goes from just strange to physically impossible. An object moving at Mach 10, that's over 10 times the speed of sound, should create a deafening sonic boom. I mean, it should have shaken him right out of the sky. But there was total silence. Passing that close should have created violent turbulence, but his glider was perfectly smooth. It defies the physics we all know.
So after going through all his own footage, the pilot did what any of us would do. He started researching online, and he quickly realized he was not alone. The footage he captured looks eerily similar to other documented sightings of these fast-moving, unexplained objects from all over the world.
Suddenly, his personal, isolated experience fits into this much bigger global pattern. It echoes famous cases, like the 2004 Tic Tac encounter filmed by Navy pilots, or a 2016 sighting in Utah where a drone caught a similar object. These aren't just one-off events, they're part of a pattern that even the Pentagon is investigating.
And look, this isn't just speculation. The Pentagon's own UAP office, called AARO, reported on 757 sightings between May of 2023 and June of 2024. Now, they were able to explain most of them, but a small, very significant number, 21 of them, remain officially unexplained, showing off performance that we just can't account for.
And that brings us right back to the pilot's powerful final thought. After all the math, all the analysis, all the research, he was left with one single certainty. He might not have a clue what that object was, but because he saw it, and more importantly, because his camera recorded it, he knows it was real. It wasn't a trick of the light. It wasn't a delusion. The Ranicote footage is just this incredibly clear and deeply puzzling piece of evidence. It doesn't give us any easy answers. Instead, it just forces us to ask a really profound question. What are these objects in our skies that move with impossible speed in total silence and seem to break the very laws of physics?